I am finally done. Have you guys ever been through this where you have a lot of projects and then you have a deadline and then you have project over project over project over project and you're like, when will this end? When will it ever finish? And then you start procrastinating and then you start doing this and that, and then eventually you get to work and you have to grind like a lot, like on days, like hours after hours. So most of you may know that I am a wedding photographer and I have a whole team, so we do films as well. And basically I have to do all the editing, and I've had this serious backlog of weddings. Just been editing, and I'm finally done. So if you can hear that sound behind me, that sound, it's basically my computer's exporting the last video, and it feels so good to be done. And I've decided I need a break. I'm taking a break from wedding photography for like 2 months. Basically, I just need like a little small holiday from shooting weddings, and I want to work on other projects, and specifically my YouTube and travels. With weddings, if you're shooting a lot of them, you tend to burn out in terms of creativity and just ideas in general and just your general motivations. So that's another reason why I'm taking this break. So on to the next part of this awesome video. Last week I put out an Insta story and I asked you guys to ask me some questions that you may have, and I said that I was going to do a live to answer them, an Insta live, but then my phone kept crashing and my net was really bad, so I didn't manage to do the Insta live. So I put out another poll asking if you guys want me to do a YouTube video or an Insta live, and you guys said that you wanted me to do a YouTube video, so here I am, and I'm gonna go through these questions. Most of them were very similar, so let's go. The biggest question I received was, how did you start your photography career? What inspired you so much and what motivated you to continue? I've been taking photos for a really long time. I think it's my 7th year of being a photographer. What happened was I was bored during my high school vacation, and my brother bought a DSLR for my sister, and I don't know, I happened to stumble upon it in a cupboard or something. Yeah, like no one ever used it, and I was just like, this looks cool. So I started taking photos, and it was quite fun. Then I started posting them on Facebook, and people are like, "Ooh, good photos." Looking back at those photos, they're terrible. I don't even know how people thought they were good. But yeah, so I kept taking more and more photos, and then I was told to try out weddings, and I shot my first wedding and I actually really enjoyed it. It was an Indian wedding, and Indian weddings are full of like party for like the first few days before the actual wedding, and then even after the wedding there's another party, so the party part was really fun. Then I shot another wedding and I started developing my whole wedding business, and started finding out what clients were all about, their love stories, just their stories in general. It was like meeting new people, and that started inspiring me to get better in my wedding photography and actually make it like my career. So that's how I got into photography, and what inspired me was basically the love that clients shared with each other, saving their moments and watching them watch their moments that have been saved by me in like a really creative way. It was really nice to see, and I think that was also another thing that motivated me to keep taking more photos. The next biggest question that I got was, how do I get clients and how do I get more paid gigs and photography? How do I make that a business? From experience, I started like 5 years ago starting the business. From what I remember was I had to start off a portfolio. So basically the thing with photography and video is you need something to show before you can actually tell someone to pay you, and to do that I started taking on jobs for free. My cousin's wedding, and I knew that I wanted to get into weddings, so I shot her wedding, but I wasn't like the main photographer. I was like just a guest photographer, but I shot it like an actual professional. And then I was found by another photographer who lived really close by, and he saw my work and he was like, hey, help me shoot this wedding. So that was actually like the first actual wedding that I shot as a main photographer, and Then I had now a portfolio to show other people, so I kept posting that stuff. Luckily at the time there was Instagram and Facebook, so I started posting my pictures. Another bride found me and she saw my photos and really liked them, and told me to shoot her wedding, and that's where my wedding career sort of started off. And I built a portfolio through that, and then the next thing was, it was quite simple to approach someone and be like, hey, this is my work, this is how much I charge, if you like my work, if you're interested. With the corporate work, it depends on what kind of work you want to do. So if basically you want to shoot for a shoe company, a brand like Nike, Adidas or something, buy some Nike shoes and take some really good photos of them, send them off to their marketing department or something like that, and tell them, hey, these are the photos I can take. Maybe if they have any campaigns that are coming up, you can do your own research and tell them about the campaigns you know of. Kind of impress them with what you know about their company. Ask them if they're interested in taking you on, and just keep doing that with as many brands and see where you can go from there. Not every company will hire you, but the companies that will, you'll actually have a lot of fun shooting for them because you picked them in the first place. And eventually, as you grow your portfolio in those corporate shoots, they will refer you to other people, and more people will actually see your work from the portfolio. Instagram is a really great platform for photographers nowadays to get business from, so make use of that to its best. There's a lot of information online on how to grow your Instagram, and I think that would be a perfect way to grow your photography business. The next question that I was asked was, do you hate people who think being a photographer is not a job? So I thought really hard about this question, and my answer is no, I don't hate on people who think photography is not a real job. I feel like it depends on where they're coming from. A lot of people are brought up with the mindset of study, get a degree, get a job, and then make a lot of money, which is totally fine. It's very rare for people to go in a different direction and do something like be a photographer or be a musician and make it big in it. But again, in this day and age, I feel like it's really easy for us creatives, especially with the whole boom of social media, to make a lot of money, and it's up to us to prove that photography is a real job and you can make a lot of money out of it. So for all the people who have thought it wasn't a real job when I initially wanted to be a photographer, they now do know that it can be made a real job and a full-time thing. Whew. That one was a really difficult question to answer, but I hope that helped. The next questions that I'm going to talk about were like really simple personal questions that I'm going to answer really quick. The first one was, are you a ninja? Funny story, I keep telling people that I meet that I'm a ninja because I like figure out weird random things about them, and they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, hey, I'm a ninja. Yeah, I am a ninja. Another question was, how many countries have I traveled to, and which one was my favorite? So till date, I've traveled to 3 countries, not as much as I'd like, but I've traveled to Tanzania, Dubai, and India. I have to say that my favorite was Tanzania because I traveled to Tanzania when I was, this age, and I traveled there alone, and I got to learn so much. I got to do so much compared to when I went to India and Dubai. I went there when I was really young and I didn't quite do a lot. I don't even remember much of what I did. So yeah, Tanzania. So yeah guys, that's the end of the Q&A. If I missed any questions, I'm sorry, but I think I'll do another Q&A in the future when I have a lot more subscribers and followers. Thank you so much for throwing in your questions, and thank you guys so much for supporting me in this whole venture of my YouTube. I am so grateful for all of you. You guys are the best. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're new here, hit that like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I release a video. And I will see you guys in the next video.